What's up, people? I am back. I'm finally getting to these movies today. I watched Underworld Awakening. I'll be doing that one either tomorrow morning or I'll do it Sunday night. It'll be either or. But I'm gonna gun for tomorrow morning. But today I am doing Rise of the Lycans. This was the prequel that came out in 2009. It had Rona Mitra. You had the actor who played Lucian. You had Reyes, who's the big black dude in the first one, and Victor was back. I really enjoyed this film. I really enjoyed it as a prequel. I remember I didn't watch it in theaters at the time, but I watched it like a bit later. But I remember really, I was initially a little confused. I'm like, why is Kate Beckinsale not in it? But then I understood it was a prequel. And then I really did enjoy it. Like the way they go back and tie it to the first film. I mean, there's even a scene in the first one where you get a look at Lucian, I'm just going to say Lucian seeing his Sonia die. So it's kind of cool to actually see it in action in the full context and going back and learning about the whole war between and how it started between the werewolves and vampires. And it was cool seeing Victor was as good of a bad guy as he was in the first one. I thought he was good in this one. He's a fucking great at that scene where the vampire council unanimously decides to kill Sonia because she has the baby with Lucian. That shit was fucked up, man. And they opened the thing and sunlight came in and she just was. That's how they execute people. That was fucking dark, man. That was fucking dark. Yeah, that was very well done. So I overall enjoy this movie. And the way it ends and they tie it to the first movie, tie it back, like, because, the reason he made Celine a vampire is because she reminded him of Sonia. And that was kind of cool. Because even in the posters, they definitely made Rona Mitra look a little bit like Celine, definitely. So, but overall, definitely enjoyed this one. I heavily recommend it. I'd almost say watch it first before the first one. I think it makes more sense that way. Sorry about that. It almost would make more sense that way to watch it first before you watch the first one. But I mean, I would watch it any order. I would even watch like the regular movies first, and then just watch this on its own because I really dig it. I like the aesthetic. The story was great, and to actually see it in context is great. So. Out of 10, I would definitely give this one like an 8 out of 10. But yeah. Like I mentioned, tomorrow in the morning or Sunday, I will be doing Underworld Awakening, which really is Underworld 3 for all intents and purposes. Because we go back to Kate Beckinsale. I thought that was all rewatching. I watched that one in theaters, but we're watching it again tonight. I really liked it. It was really awesome. So definitely gonna be talking about that one tomorrow. But other than that, we're gonna get started here. So the movie opens up. Basically, we get like almost like the similar openings where we get like the backstory. But this is like a few, I think, centuries now, or a few years after the war between the Lycans and the vampires started. Victor has this whole vampire colony. As the story goes, Lycans were initially slaves of the vampires. And the vampires had an uprising. So this pretty much goes into that. We get an opening action sequence with Lucian, who works for Victor, and initially Victor really likes him, even though he is a werewolf. And Sonia, his daughter, is a hard trained warrior. And gasp, women warriors existed. This idea. But anyway, just had to bring in that little jab in there. But so we get an opening action scene where Sonia fucks up some werewolves and or Lycans. They kind of just say, I kind of like that they don't just call. I mean, I'll call them werewolves, but I do like that they consistent in these movies, and they pretty much say Lycan the whole time. So after that, Sonya, this is where we get the reveal that Sonya and Lucien are actually together, and they've been in love for a while secretly, because he's a werewolf, or I'll say he's a Lycan. Then she goes out into battle, but Lucien realizes that it's too. Well, he realizes that it's an ambush, and that she never like that she's walking into a trap. So he breaks out of his binds because he's not allowed to leave. So when he disobeys orders and leaves, and her soldiers get fucked up, and this was a pretty good scene. I in general love, because I'm a big werewolf fan, and I've always have been. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like vampires, but I've always felt like werewolves kind of never gotten. I've always kind of gotten the short end of the stick, so it's kind of cool to see them very well done here. I've always liked the designs too of them in these movies. Like, they're fucking big. They're fucking big, and even like the transformations are very well done. I've always felt like with these movies, like the special effects and stuff are pretty much well done in these. There are some moments where it doesn't look great, but it looks pretty decent. So Lucien comes for the save and helps Sonya and kills up the other werewolves. But doing so gets in trouble with Victor. And Victor, yes, he acknowledges that he rescued his daughter, but he disobeyed, so he gets whipped. And man, that whip scene is like, these movies they don't shy away from gore at all, man. Especially Awakening, and I'll talk about that more in that review. But yeah, these movies never shy away from gore. So Lucien is now imprisoned, and Sonya, now her seat in the council is basically gone, and Victor confronts her, and this is pretty much where he finds out that she had an affair, or that about the affair, because and this was explained even in the first movie, that when vampires bite you, they basically, when they're draining your blood, they can also see your memories, which that's fucking crazy, and if you actually think about it. So he sees what happened and basically imprisons her, but she pays Tannis, who's also in the first and second movie. I like how they very well do tie everything together in this movie. Like, you have stuff that you're like, oh, you're gonna see that character later. Like the Reyes, who's Lucien's lieutenant, who you see in the first movie. So it's kind of cool that they got him back. So it's like the way they tie everything together is very well done. So, and I honestly think that's a movie on its own. I really like it. So, with the help of Tannis, Lucien escapes, and basically after this, I think she warns Lucien that the vampires are basically coming, and this is where we get like a big battle scene. And yeah, the battles in this movie are very well done. I think in general, like Underworld has got like the big fight set pieces very well done. Yeah, I've seen some criticism, and to an extent I can agree that some of these movies do kind of blur together at times, especially with like the visuals. But I think personally I like the aesthetic. I think it works. I think, and though they're I feel like if you watch them enough, you can tell the difference. And I, in general, love this one. I love the medieval aspect about it. Because don't get me wrong, I like those first two movies with the guns and stuff, and the later ones too. But I do like that in this one, it's just straight up medieval. It's just a medieval werewolf and vampire movie, pretty much. So Lucien fights one of Victor's guards, and Victor initially takes on his own daughter. We get and she nearly kills him, but then he gets control and basically imprisons both of them. And this is where we get, my opinion, one of the most fucked up scenes, and it's very well done. And we see a little bit of it in a little bit of it. And I like that they were able to actually make it look like that scene. We do see it a bit in the first Underworld where Lucien tells his story, and you get a quick flashback of his reaction. So the Vampire Council before that, she she to try to spare she wanted to spare Victor's not Victor, Lucian's life. She confesses that she's pregnant with his baby, and that makes Victor even more enraged, and kills he and the council vote to execute her. And the way they execute vampires is they open the roof and basically let in the sunlight. And man, this scene was brutal. But the effects were very well done. It was a sad scene too. And like I said, Rona Mitra was great, and you could tell that she was definitely like kind of what does set up Celine later on. But I also do like that they don't try to make her a Celine clone in this movie. I like that they do try to make her own character, and she was great. And her death is fucked up. But yeah, so after that, Lucian then breaks out, goes full werewolf mode, but then initially gets stopped by the death dealers. But then Lucian's soldiers, who are other slaves and stuff, call and attack the castle. And that's what I like about it. Like, it's a medieval movie. Like, they're attacking. There's a castle raid and all this shit. And Lucian then confronts Victor, and he seemingly kills Victor by stabbing him in the mouth. Pretty brutal. And then he falls into a coffin. And then this is basically where we go from here, where we know, like, now Lucian knows that Victor isn't, he pretty much, it's implied, like, he knows Victor isn't gone and that the war is going to continue. And then it kind of ends with we get a reference, not a reference, but we see Celine, like a shot from her from the first movie. And then, like, the conversation with her and Craven about that, basically how much she reminds him of Victor's daughter, and then the film ends. Overall, awesome movie. I really think it's a solid prequel. I think this is an example of a prequel done right. The way it ties everything to the first movie, but it also doesn't change anything, and if it does, it's not noticeable at all. I probably can't even think of it. I probably have to really look. Because honestly, I don't think it really changes anything. I feel like it makes sense. It was cool getting Victor back. The way they got every actor back who kind of can tie to the first movie, and they tied it perfectly. Like, it doesn't, and like I mentioned, it doesn't change anything. Because there are some, maybe they maybe accidentally do this, but with some prequels, they'll just change shit. Maybe they don't know they're doing it, and then it just is like, okay, this doesn't make sense now. Like, even in the Thing prequel, which I will eventually review one day, the Thing prequel, because I feel like it does that too in that, where, like, they'll just change things. Like, so this one actually ties it perfectly. So I kind of wish this got better reviewed, because honestly, I think this is an awesome film. So, and like I meant, I really like that Sonya isn't a Celine clone. They could have easily gotten into that trap of just making her a Celine clone. Like, just give her the same qualities, but she has a sword. But I like that they changed it up. She's her own character. And then her death was fucking sad, man. So, and Lucian was great. I liked him in the first movie, so it's kind of cool to see his story and the way they tied everything together. And just the aesthetic of it all, the whole medieval aspect. I would definitely recommend this one. I would even, I would say watch it first before you watch the first one, or even watch it on its own. I think it's just a good movie. So, 8 out of 10. Yeah. Tomorrow or Sunday, I am doing Underworld Awakening. Really awesome. The way they bring Celine back, and man, Kate Beckinsale, it's like she didn't miss a beat, because before this one, she was gone for like 6 years, because the last Underworld she was in Evolution, and that was in 2006. So that was 6 years, because she wasn't in this one. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was a solid comeback. I thought the way they bring in her daughter was pretty good, and I do wish we got Michael. I think that was the only one I didn't really like. I kind of wanted to see Michael, and I get maybe because they were saving him for Blood Wars, but I would have rather, we saw him a little bit. Like, we see him in the beginning, but I thought the scientist dude was a pretty good villain, and the werewolf guy. I really enjoyed that big ass werewolf. I thought it was, it was a little cheesy, but especially considering what happens later, they did the whole big ass predator, but I really did enjoy that giant werewolf. I thought he was a pretty solid secondary villain. And like I mentioned, the gore. This one, like, I think they go crazy with the gore in a good way. Like, there's just some kills in this. I'm like, holy shit, man. So definitely, this is probably my third favorite after the first two. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm gonna take one more hit, and I'll talk to y'all soon. But yeah, guys, as usual, fuck the Biden administration.